Good good morning, everybody. Now, myself, Dr. Sanjay Valkar. Now, today's lecture on the development of thyroid gland and its anomalies. Now, the thyroid gland is endodermal in derivative. It is derived from the thyroglossal duct, which arises just behind the tubercular impar in the ventral part of the primitive pharynx. Now, this is the tubercular impar. Behind there is a foramen cecum, black color. This is the remnant of the thyroglossal duct. Okay. Now, before the fusion of the tongue rudiments, the endodermal cells dorsal to the tubercular impar initially proliferate to form a surface elevation of the median rudiment. The surface elevation of median rudiment. Thereafter, the cells evaginate caudally through the substance of the tongue and form the thyroglossal duct. Now, the thyroglossal duct is formed by the cells of the surface elevation of the median rudiments, which evaginate caudally through the substance of the tongue and form the thyroglossal duct. Now, this duct grows caudalwards in the median plane ventral to the hyoid bone. When this duct reaches the ventral to the proximal part of the trachea, it divides into a bilobe mass which form the primordium of the isthmus and lateral lobes of the thyroid gland. It is at the ventral to the proximal part of the trachea. The thyroglossal duct divided into how many? Two bilobe mass which form the primordium of the isthmus and the lateral lobes of the thyroid gland. Now, the thyroglossal duct reaches its final position in front of the trachea in seventh week of the intrauterine life. Subsequently, the thyroglossal duct disappears, leaving a trace of its cephalic attachment as a foramen cecum of the tongue. That's why the foramen cecum is a remnant of the upper part of the which duct? Thyroglossal duct. Now the lateral thyroid rudiments derived from the caudal pharyngeal complex of the fourth pouch fuse with the bilobe mass of the thyroglossal duct and arrest the further caudal migration of the thyroid gland. This is the lateral thyroid rudiments which is derived from the caudal pharyngeal complex of the fourth pouch. It arrests the further caudal migration of the thyroid gland. Most of the present workers believe that the lateral thyroid rudiments induce the differentiation of the lateral lobe. For the function of that, it induces the differentiation of the lateral lobes, according to most of the workers, but do not actively participate in the development of the thyroid gland. Now, this is the site of the origin of the thyroglossal duct that is known as foramen cecum. Here is some of the endodermal cells of the primitive tongue which is present behind the tubercular impar, which proliferate. Then it invaginate in the substance of the tongue to form a thyroglossal duct. The thyroglossal duct migrate caudally up to the proximal part of the trachea. Then it becomes bilobe. This bilobe structure, it is the primordium of isthmus and the two lobes, lateral lobes of the thyroid. Now this is this thyroglossal duct This is the bilobe structure. This is the lateral thyroid, which is derived from the caudopharyngeal complex, which arrests the further migration of the thyroglossal duct. This lateral thyroid prevent the further migration of the thyroglossal duct. Now, this diagram is showing the pathway or migratory pathway of the thyroglossal duct, which arises from here. That means it's foramen cecum is the remnant of the upper part of the thyroglossal duct. This is the pathway for the descent or the migration of the thyroglossal duct, which is arrested at the proximal top part of the trachea, where it forms the thyroid gland. Now, within the bilobe mass, duct subdivides into the series of the double cellular plates. Within the bilobe mass, the duct subdivides into the series of the double cellular plates. When the colloid accumulates within the bilaminar plates, latter are converted. That means bilaminar plates are converted into the primary thyroid follicles. Then subsequent buddings differentiation culminate in the development of numerous secondary or the definitive follicles. Then subsequently this budding differentiation culminate in the development of the numerous secondary or the definitive follicles. The parafollicular cells of the thyroid glands are derived from the ultimobranchial body of the caudopharyngeal complex. Parafollicular cells are derived from the ultimobranchial body, which is a part of the caudopharyngeal complex. Now, the developmental anomalies of the thyroid gland. Number one, anomalies of this shape. First, parapyramidal lobe. Sometimes the caudal end of the duct persists as the pyramidal lobe, which is attached to the isthmus of the thyroid gland. This pyramidal lobe may be regarded as a normal structure. This pyramidal lobe, it may arise from the isthmus or from the one of the lobe of the thyroid gland. Sometimes the isthmus may be absent. There are only two lobes of the isthmus is absent. Sometimes one of the lobes of the gland may be very small or even absent. This is the anomalies of the shape. Pyramidal lobe, the isthmus sometimes may be absent, or sometimes one of the lobes may be small or it may be absent. Now, this diagram is showing the various anomalies of this shape. This is the pyramidal lobe which arises from the isthmus, which extend up to the hyoid bone by levator glanduli thyroid. Now, in this diagram, the pyramidal lobe arises from the left lobe of the thyroid gland. In this diagram, this pyramidal lobe extend. It may arise from the right lobe of the thyroid gland. Now, in this diagram, there is a remnant of the thyroglossal duct. Some part of the thyroglossal duct is remnant. Now, in this diagram, there are two separate lobes. There is no isthmus, or isthmus is absent here, and the pyramidal lobe arises from the left lobe. In this diagram, this whole of the lobe, right lobe is absent. There is isthmus and the left lobe. In the last diagram, there is no no right lobe plus isthmus is absent. Only left lobe is present. Now, second anomaly, that anomalies of the position. Now, the thyroglossal duct may arrest at any point. According to this arrest of the thyroglossal duct, the thyroid gland, there are different types: lingual thyroid, intralingual thyroid, suprathyroid, suprahypoid thyroid, infrahypoid thyroid, and intrathoracic thyroid. The lingual thyroid, the thyroid may lie under the mucosa of the dorsum of the tongue. That is lingual thyroid. In the intralingual thyroid, the thyroid may be embedded in the muscular substance of the tongue. That is known as intralingual thyroid. Then suprahyoid thyroid, the gland may lie in the midline of the neck above the hyoid bone. That is suprahyoid. Then infrahyoid thyroid, the gland may lie below the hyoid bone but above its normal position. That is known as infrahyoid thyroid. Now, sometimes the thyroid gland may migrate to the thorax. That is known as intrathoracic. The entire gland or part of it may lie in the thorax. That is known as intrathoracic thyroid. No, these are the various positions of the thyroid glands. This is the lingual thyroid, which is present just beneath the mucosa. This is the intralingual thyroid, which is present in the substance of the tongue or in the musculature of the tongue. Third position, that is suprahyoid, which lies above the hyoid bone. This is the suprahyoid. This is infrahyoid thyroid, which lies below the hyoid bone. Now, this is the normal position of thyroid, which is present at the proximal part of the trachea. When this thyroid gland may extend in the, sometimes extend the thorax, that is called intrathoracic. Now, third anomaly is remnants of the thyroglossal duct. First, thyroglossal cyst. It is the cystic remnants of the thyroglossal duct. It is the cystic remnant of thyroglossal duct. It may occur anywhere along the course of the thyroglossal duct. It may occur anywhere along the course of thyroglossal duct, but is always near or in the midline of the neck. It is always near or the midline of the neck. Then thyroglossal fistula. Sometimes a thyroglossal cyst is connected to the outside by the fistulus canal. That canal is known, that is the thyroglossal fistula. That is known as thyroglossal fistula. Sometimes the thyroglossal cyst is connected outside by the fistulus canal. Such type of this thyroglossal cyst is known as thyroglossal fistula. Thyroglossal fistula may open at the foramen cecum. Sometimes the thyroglossal fistula may open at the foramen cecum. Now, these are the various positions of the thyroglossal cyst. Most commonly, it occurs in the region of the hyoid region, around the hyoid bone. This is lingual thyroglossal cyst near the hyoid bone, and this is at the thyroid cartilage. These are various positions of the thyroglossal cyst. Now, this picture is showing the thyroglossal cyst, which is present in the midline at the position of the hyoid bone. This is the most common position of the thyroglossal cyst. C. Now, the carcinoma of the thyroglossal duct. Sometimes the remnants of the thyroglossal duct may convert into the cancer cell. Now, fourth point, that is the ectopic thyroid tissue. Sometimes small masses of the thyroid tissue may be present at the abnormal sites, that is in the larynx, trachea, esophagus, pons, pleura, pericardia, and ovaries. Now this is about the development of the thyroid gland and its anomalies. Okay, thank you then. Okay.